All life on Earth depends on healthy soil and the plant's ability to turn the sun's energy into edible forms. So does every economy, every nation, and every civilization. And right now, the biggest threat to all life and all civilization is land degradation. Nothing on Earth can survive without healthy habitat to live in. And we now know for a fact that it is our management that causes healthy land to desertify. And every day we are experiencing more and more knock-on symptoms of global desertification. So we're seeing ever-increasing droughts, floods, poverty, poaching, wildfires, health issues, social breakdown, economic breakdown, mass immigration to cities, violence, recruitment into dissident organizations, and climate change. And globally, we seem to be blaming resources for land degradation. So we blame fossil fuels, we blame cattle, we blame elephants, and that's kind of like if someone shot you with a gun, you blaming the gun and not the person that pulled the trigger. So who manages those resources? Who manages the gun? It's us. It's not a resource. We can't blame resources for causing problems. And as Einstein once said, we cannot solve our problems using the same thinking we had when we created them. But that's exactly what we are doing. We're using the same thinking that got us into this mess to try and get ourselves out of it. And scientists have discovered that no matter who is making decisions or what is being managed, that every single person on Earth is using an identical and genetically inherited decision-making process at the point of the decisions themselves, which is inherent in all tool-using animals. So no matter how much we look at the whole picture or the different ways we think we have of managing, when we break it down to the point of our decisions, we're all using an instinctive decision-making process. And this instinctive way of making decisions was designed for a time when our only technology or tools were sticks and stones. And as all other tool-using animals still do today, we only had to make decisions for ourselves and manage ourselves. Then humans learned to control fire, and that changed everything. Over hundreds of thousands of years, our simple sticks and stones gradually became the highly advanced technology of today. And as our technology advanced and enabled us to make far more sophisticated tools, it completely changed our social behavior. And we stopped only managing ourselves. We started domesticating plants and animals, and over time we started to actually manage nature. And then we added a financial dimension to that web. So our decision-making process was designed for us only needing to manage ourselves, and suddenly we were managing ourselves, nature, and economies. But our decision-making wasn't accounting for that. And so today what we're doing is we're trying to manage a monumental web of complexity, which is made up of billions of people and many trillions of plants and animals and other life forms, by using the same inherited decision-making process, which was designed for needing to only make decisions in the basic context of our needs, desires, or problems, without needing to have any further thought than that. And to this day, we still have the same reasons for making our decisions. We still base our decisions on our needs, desires, or to solve problems. But the context we make them in needs to be adjusted to account for the fact that we now manage a much more complex web. So the context we make our decisions in must be far broader in order for us to be able to account for that fact that almost every one of our decisions now comes with social, ecological, and financial dimensions. And it's because that we don't consider that fact naturally that we cause knock-on unintended consequences across that whole web. So, and the danger of our current decision-making process or outdated decision-making process is that we usually still meet our short-term objective, but it's like we've pushed a domino and we walk away and we move on to the next decision, and we don't see the ripple effect or domino effect we've set off across a whole web of complexity. So, and complexity means it's self-organizing by definition. So we can upset the balance. We can thousands of species can die, and the whole ecosystem will adjust and continue, or people can leave an organization, or something can happen and the organization will adjust and continue. But we've pushed the dominoes so many times that now these things are running out of room to adjust. So we're starting to see collapse. And right now we have young people demanding action from our world leaders, and the whole world seems to be in conflict about what actions to take to address our mounting problems. But everybody's trying to solve them by using the same management that causes them. So we're just stuck. A good example of this is that the UN 17 sustainability goals. And if you look at all those goals, they're not 17 separate problems which they get treated and managed as, but they are all knock-on symptoms of one problem, desertification. And desertification is a knock-on symptom of our outdated management and our inherited inability to manage complexity. Now, we no longer have the excuse of not having the answers to successfully managing complexity. We know how to do it. Scientists developed the holistic decision-making framework in the early 80s, and it successfully enables us to manage complexity, or enables us to successfully manage complexity. But it is very difficult to get paradigm shifting new knowledge or thinking into society if it goes against current human beliefs that have gained scientific validity because people have believed them to be true for so long. So they're not fact, they're beliefs that have gained validity. And this is not a new thing. This is an age-old problem that has never been solved since the time of Galileo. When it comes to making a change and adapting to new knowledge or thinking, history shows us that most adults and institutions are almost incapable of it. And when we're managing anything at scale, we do it through our institutions, and institutions will only change once enough of the public opinion has shifted, so individual opinion has shifted, and then they're putting pressure on the institutions. And throughout history, that's usually taken between 100 and 200 years, and we don't have the luxury of time on this one, so we need to find a way to break through in policy. But I truly believe the key to the future lies in educating our children, because they pick these things up much, much quicker than adults. So let's give young people the solutions and show them how vital it is to look at the whole picture and to focus on and address root causes instead of symptoms, and how to do that. So my books and educational materials introduce children and their adults to these new scientific insights that will not only help them to better understand the incredibly complex social, economic, and ecological connections that they're making decisions within in nature, and teach them how Earth's ecosystems function, but teach them a new way of managing which makes sure their decisions flow with the unpredictable and ever-present variables of that complexity. So they will learn how to manage in a way that guarantees they never ever lose sight of the big picture, and the fact that their physical and financial security and stability are intricately connected and entirely dependent on the health of our environment. If we can have school leavers that are going off into the world understanding how Earth's ecosystems must be functioning in order for us to have health, so school leavers that are ecologically literate and capable of successfully managing and balancing the unavoidable social, financial, and ecological dimensions of their decisions, rather than being stuck reacting or adapting to inevitable and increasing symptoms, which we are all currently doing, they will be proactively making decisions in a way that will bring about the lives that they want in this broader context that they describe, while solving the current problems because those symptoms will start to fall away, and preventing any more knock-on symptoms further down the line. When we do that, we will change everything.